Hello, good afternoon. It's good to be back here. It's good to be able to continue on with this problem today as opposed to waiting until tomorrow morning. So I hope you all have had a good day. Let's see what we can do. All right. Well, I did, as Stacking suggested, I did basically set up my post to co so I could connect to it. Now, post to co is a sort of like a GUI connector for databases. It's not really there to control and configure the database. Mostly there to sort of explore, run queries. You can do some things with it, but it's really like a pretty bare bones. It does look nice, which is really nice, and there's a free tier, which is also really nice. It is Mac only, so if you do want something that looks like this, that is a unfortunate thing. Database views, I've not really found too many that like are really good and have all the features that I want. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing today? No Linux, I know. When I was using Linux, what did I use? I don't remember what I used on Linux. I might have just used PSQL straight. Or, yeah, I don't remember anymore. But okay, so this morning we found this issue here. And it seems that this person is doing the exact same thing that we're attempting to do. Create a query and turn it into this consumable object. And they're doing a select, and so they're getting basically two tables worth of stuff out of here. So C, which is the consumable table, and then also S, which is from the serving table. And let's see. They get from S the ID, the consumable ID, the amount, and the kcal, and they want multiple serving per consumable. And if we look up a little bit, we can see here's consumable, and here's serving. Now both of these implement SQLx from row, so we can try going back to it again, and I want to also try getting this back to goodness again. Not that one. I want the code. Where's that code? It's down here. Okay, so here we go. Select games, everything in games. Select platforms. We have name. So if I do also platforms dot platform ID, we have the platforms dot name as platforms, which is then a vec of platform. We're turning this into a game with platforms. Here's our game with platforms. Now, currently, I have only derive, debug. And then it's turning into this platforms here like this. Now, if I take away the option, this is how we started this morning with that, and it yells at me saying, hey, from option vec platform, because there's no guarantee that we're going to have anything in here. So it knows it has to be an option. Okay, so if I do that, you're happy. I wonder if I need to do an option here. Nope, don't need to do that. I think I tried that. It yelled at me. Yeah, it would be option. Okay, so we do this, and we can attempt. Okay, so it's just left and right for running this. So we can attempt to run this again. encountered an array of 2 dimensions. Only 1-dimensional arrays are supported. Okay, so now if we were to take this query as it were and use this in here, we can see what we'd be getting back. Can I make you bigger? At size 24 right now, we can do maybe 48. Oh, yep, we can definitely do 48. Okay, that's a little bit too big. Okay, 24 is good then. Okay, so if I, let's see, is this good? I think this is good. I'm not asking for anything specifically. So we get back and we see that we're getting, for game ID, we have 9, the name, Stardew Valley, and we have both of the platforms here. So we have Switch and Steam with the IDs, the platform ID, and the name. Okay, that's great. Now things that were we didn't do. So maybe I can derive from a row on here, and that maybe that will change something. No. And then the other one is platform. I don't think we need the SQL type. The trait type postgres? The trait type postgres is not implemented for platform. So it does need to be a type. Or wait, what do they have? Also, this was 3 years ago. Now they have Serde. Let's try implementing Serde on this. Now I don't think we can get Serde from. Yeah, they're not re-exported, so we'll have to add Serde in. Ooh, wait, what's this? I'm missing platform ID. Okay, so you're missing from here. Now, okay, let's put in the type again. Okay, we're back to only 1-dimensional arrays are supported. So let's try adding in serialize. Okay, one dimensional again. We'll head over and we'll try implementing this. We could try all three of these. Here. You don't like this. PG has array type. Oh, interesting. Required for VEC platform to implement. Okay, so let's not worry about that right now. Okay, let's try this. Encountered an array of 2 dimensions. Only one-dimensional arrays are supported. Okay, what else? We have the rename with both of you, but that doesn't seem to be right. I don't think we need that for this one. That being said, I wonder, let's get rid of you and try just query and see what it's, oh, right, I don't think I can, nope, I'm gonna keep that. Okay, we fetch one, let's go back to not returning anything. Oh, can I debug this? I might be able to. All right, let's see what we got out of here. Encountered an array of 2 dimensions, only one-dimensional arrays are supported. So while decoding this column here, what else are, what special things are you doing with this? So there's this strange as surveys that's coming in here, which is changing the column, and it's making this an array as the return option, which I'm guessing isn't a, that's what it's having trouble with. can I actually turn it into an array? Like, can I do that? No. Okay, so it doesn't like that at all. It likes this though. It's perfectly fine doing that. Okay, so did that actually work? I don't think it actually was working. And I'm not doing like an extra comma here. Okay, what is the SQL command for group by? I keep on forgetting this one. All right, so I know there's a way to do like a many to many. Well, I could do the many to many here. I just don't think it's going to be like super nice and easy. I think what we'll need to do is just do the single query and get the mega results for this. So we'll have basically we have everything games, but we could probably update this. So we want games, game ID as game ID. Its name as name. And we also already have a game ID. I don't need to actually do an as for that, do I? Then we have platforms, platform ID. So we could do that, and then we'll have to pull these together. Nexus, hello. Um, how are you doing today? Yes, I guess I am the SQLx guy, at least for a bit. I was looking online. There's not very many resources for SQLx right now. There's some old ones from a few years ago, but not really much modern stuff. And it looks like things have changed just enough to make it a little bit annoying to try to figure out what's going on. Okay, so if we do this, we'll get these, and now I want to loop through. So basically, I get a vector of these. Am I going to sell the course? Absolutely, yeah. The plan is to do the two different types of sales, right? I'm going to sell the course on its own, and then like sort of like a live, hey, workshop, let's go through it together version of the course. All right. Got to get all the stuff written for it though first. I was hoping this would be easy and we'd be like one day and done with the many to many joins, but it's not making this easy for on us. Okay, so let's do this. We'll do games dot game ID games dot name as name. Okay, so from games, we join game platform. We join platforms where games, the game ID equals 9, so we're only gonna get 1. So let's replace that. We'll do a fetch all on you. That gets us a vec record here. Were we able? No. Do you work? There we are. Okay. So we see our results here, and okay, so we see the 2 starter values, but then the rest of them. So I probably want to do this. By game, and then platform ID will be inside of that. So we can create a we could create a hash map of the games. We could either use the name or the ID because both of them have a unique flag on them. But it might make more sense to go based on the ID. So I want to if we do this as game platform, we're going to have game ID, platform ID, game name, platform name, something like that. And so you can turn into a vec of game platform. Okay, so you're gonna be happy with this. So if you run you, okay, so it's I mean pretty much exactly the same as what we got from the database. Now, if I want to turn this into essentially a game, let's go to let's not use the game that I have in here. Do I have game? I have models. Let's get rid of models for right now. I'm gonna just put these directly into queries right now, and then we'll deal with that later if we want to put them back. So I have a pub struct game. Welcome back, Nexus. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna need any of those. We're grabbing, okay, so we're getting from our query the game platform, which means I could probably go into a from for a game, but the idea is that the game is gonna have a I suppose I might just have this be an ID. Here, like that. No, that might be too confusing. Game ID, platform. Okay, so you have that, and then you have a name, which is a string. Okay. So we want to turn it into a game, and the game is going to have a platform inside of it. It's not really a from, it's going to be a vec. Game platform. Although I could map over it and sort of change it, but I think I want to do it from both of these. Okay, so what do we need? Well, the first parts are pretty easy, right? We have the game ID is going to be equal to the oh yeah, this is going to be, oh no, this turns into a self. This turns into a self, like a single game. That's not what I want at all. And I don't think I can do a for vec game. I don't think that would, I don't think it will let me do it an external type. I think box is the only one I can do that on. Is that right? Yeah, I can't do this. I think there's one or two types that I can do that to, but not this. Okay. I could have a struct for games, so I can have a wrapper around a vec. We can just create an external function to do the work for us, or we can just do the work inside of here. So here we get a result. It's a vec game platform. To create this, I want a hash map of game. So let's pull in a hash map. We're going to insert, loop through. So for our game platform result in results, oh, yeah. Let's do that. That'll make you happier. Okay. We're going to loop through this, and we're going to find the game ID. And if it exists inside of our hash map, we're going to grab it out. Otherwise, we're going to create a new one. Which, is that entry? Gets the given keys corresponding entry in the map for in-place manipulation. Okay, so that sounds right. And then the key is entry. The key is going to be result dot, we'll do it by game ID. But if you don't exist, then there's something like or create or insert. or insert. Ensures the value is an entry by inserting the default if empty and returns. So then I want to create or we could do this function here. Is it or insert? It might be or insert. Okay, let's do or insert. I bet Clippy is going to want me to do or insert with because I'm going to be creating a resource here, and I don't think I always need the resource to be here. So this is going to be a game. What? You won't let me? Okay, fine. Game. We have the game ID is going to be. Oh, I was using the wrong. I was using the wrong keyboard shortcuts. That's why everything was weird. You're a little new to Rust. Is there a way to figure out what a type implementations quickly in VS Code or other? Do you have Rust Analyzer installed? Yes. Okay. So I don't know what the keyboard shortcut is in VS Code. Over here, let's say here in result, I can see this type just injected in for me is game platform. If I didn't have that, I can do Command K, and that shows me, hey, it's that's game or Shift, yeah, something. Oh, Space K, in Helix. I don't know what it is somewhere else. It is type game platform. You can see here, one of the other ones here. If I did a borrow here, then you could see there's the borrow right here on this type. That's how I can tell if something is borrowed. Now, to tell if something is cloned or copied, I haven't yet seen the ability, like Rust Analyzer won't tell me that, unfortunately. I have to go and like take a look at it. Vampire, hello. I'm not using aliases for the tables on the joins. That's not. Wait. Aliases for the tables on the joins. That's not the as. Is there an actual alias for that? Is there something I should be doing instead of this? Yeah, that'd be great. And then I'll see. We could run it in the GUI first and see how it's gonna work. Oh, it will take. Okay, hold on. I can fix this for you. Let us see how the paste is in Twitch, and hopefully it. Well, there's a bunch of dot type things in here, so this might. Paste is horrible. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna wrap it in. I know that there's no such thing as markdown in chat here, but just to make it a little bit easier to copy and paste, so you can just do between the triples. All right, so if hopefully it doesn't Nightbot doesn't delete your code, although I should be able to recover it if it does. We could also have you join my Discord, and that does not have any we can't we do code all the time over there. Okay, so we get the game out. So either way, we have a game and we have an empty platforms in there or platforms already in there. And so I want to find out if in the platforms is this ID. Now, should I have platforms be a vector, or should that be another hash map? We can just do another hash map and have it look it up. So instead of this being a Vecca platform, this could be another, so a hash map of I32 and platform. I could even, just to make this easy to tell us, we can do a type alias. It's just an I32. Okay, so that's gonna be that. Okay. So platform ID, you can also be a platform ID. I guess you can have game ID be this way too. Okay, so you should be all happy here. So you won't be this anymore. You'll be a hash map. Oh, yeah, okay. That's what I thought would happen. Oh, yeah, right, because I don't have pastebin allowed. But I can see it still. So let's go take a look at it. I should probably allow pastebin, right? Let me allow pastebin. Also weird. Okay, pastebin is now allowed. Oh, okay. So no problem. Yeah. First one. Yeah, I haven't been doing ad block. And it's like this one is particularly bad. Yeah. I like I get concerned with ad block because I've heard it's changed hands a few times. And that makes me really concerned about how secure it really is. Like I might be installing code behind the scenes. Okay, so first one. Yeah, but that's the thing is like how do I know it's not gonna like change hands? That's true. You could set up a like a Raspberry Pi to do some DNS blocking. Oh yeah, that does a good job usually. But okay, so what was this? Change the second T1 to T2. So second T1. Oh yeah, that would be that would do it. Okay, I see what you mean by aliasing. Yeah, aliasing that so I don't have to write that. I apparently can't update this, but I can select it. So hold on. Wait, let me change the stuff even more. You focus too much on the join. Okay. Games equals T1. Yeah, so by the way, this is aliasing. So basically this should now be T1. This has to be T1. Do SK name. Okay, so then platforms is T3. So this is gonna be T3, T3. So on T1 dot game ID is equal to T2 dot game ID. Platforms T3 on T3 dot platform ID is equal to T2 dot platform ID. Also see I put the question mark at the front. It's easier to take fields out when making queries. Oh, interesting. I was wondering if that was just a weirdness in a formatting. But yeah, that does make sense. It's my brain is a little bit weirded out by it, but I'm sure I can get used to it. And then where 1 equals 1, you can put that. You can put the and in the front to make that easier. So why do I need the where 1 equals 1? Because this is always true, right? So there's no difference between having this and not having it. Oh, wait. Oh, it's just a filler. Basically, so like I don't really need this here. We could do it elsewhere. So like I can just do a select, execute that, and we get this. Got it. Okay. Yes, we're not doing a where right now. So I'll just go ahead and I do like to put semicolon in the next line. So that way I can be anywhere in here and run that one. Okay, so we get these back out. These are fine. You can use filters. You can use 1 equals 1. But that, I guess like my brain keeps on going to 1 equals 1 is literally just the 1 equals 1 all the time. But don't I want to change that to be whatever I'm filtering for? It's like where name equals Starfield, something like that. Because that's what I would probably do here is then just say, okay, we'll do a where so t1 dot name something like that. Yeah, it's just the path holder for the and compare that comes after that. Oh, I guess like you can have that just always here, so that way I can just leave it in and it doesn't really matter. Does that actually cause any like performance issues, like where it has to also check for this? I could also do that. That works. Yeah, you can quickly add or remove filters. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so back to you. Um, yeah, so if I were to do it, I probably would change these around. I'd probably switch games. Hold on, so if I'm gonna do games, oh, that's gonna get the from also. Never mind. I usually like to do aliases as the first letter of the name that it is. So, platforms will become P, so from games G, game platform GP on gp.gameid and g.game. Platforms P. In my mind, it's a lot easier to sort of parse through like what that is. Okay, so we've got that. Debug results. Sometimes you use 10 plus joins and your brain is so used to the T1, T2. Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, what was T1 again? Like I instantaneously forget what it is because there's no like reference to it in my brain, so I can't use any of my tricks to sort of like go, oh right, it's meaningless. I guess that's the problem. That might be just my brain though. Okay, so we have a brand new game. We've got that in there. We've got a hash map in the platforms. So we want to do essentially the same thing, right? So we have our game, and then I want to see if the platform for this one is inside of platforms. So we have platform ID, so we'll do it by ID. So these are, yeah, it is specific. So this is going to be platforms. I don't need that anymore, so I can move it in there. Okay, so now I have the platforms. I potentially just put one in there, didn't I? I think I want to insert. So I get the game or a ins. Okay, so get the games or insert. That's probably fine for that one. But platforms or insert? That doesn't seem right because now I need to know if I need to insert the platform. Or wait, do I? Hold on, I might be backwards in my logicking. So if the platform didn't exist in here, I've added it in. So, oh yeah, so it's in there now. Okay, cool. once it's in there, then I probably just want to return games. Like that. Which means we need to change your type. So let's do like pub type games model is a hash map of game ID and games. We don't need these models coming in anymore. We deleted that actually. No errors. So we should be okay. Is there the equivalent of entry without getting it back? So like I do the or insert. What do we have here? Contains key. Returns true if the map contains a value for the specified key. Ooh, but that's just going to return a Boolean. Whereas entry returns an entry. Yeah, I don't want to replace it. I guess we could just check to see if it contains the key, because that returns a Boolean, right? So if it contains the key, then I want to add mine to the end. Otherwise, well, this is unique. This is guaranteed to be unique per platform, per game. Yeah, it's a guaranteed to be unique because we put the key across them. So I don't really need to use a hash map. I could go back to using a oh, what is it called? A vector on this. And then I could just push, because that's all I really need to do. I just need to push. I'm overcomplicating it. It can just be a Vecca platform. And so here we'll just do game.platforms push, and so this will be a new platform. Platform ID will be platform ID, and then oh, I keep on forgetting like how to go to the next thing. It's not that. Whatever. Name will be platform name. And there we go. Okay, now you should be happy. And then where am I calling this from? From the main library. So I can get my games here. Wait, shouldn't this update? So you're going to be the game's model that I'm getting back. Games model here. So I'm returning games model, which is a hash map game ID game. I'm updating games. Why is it still saying that it's the other type here? Game with platforms. That doesn't seem right. Because get game platforms is returning a game's model. Let's restart Rust Analyze. When in doubt, do that. It's not updating. All right, well, let's run this. We have our debug still here. So okay, so we have okay, so it is correct. We have our hash map. So we have game ID 7, name Starfield with its platforms and those ones, and then we have the exact same thing for Stardew Valley. So that puts that all together very nicely. I could choose to do a vector, but then I have to do I have to look through the vector of games every time to make sure. So that's a loop within a loop. I don't really want to do that. With this way, it's like a one lookup. Like we just grab it from the hash map. I could return this as a vector of games. That's something we can do. I think it's sort of like the choice. It's going to be the choice of the whoever's using this. I could also say, let's say, game is model. You're going to be a vec of game. So to turn this into a vector of games, I could do into values, creates a consuming iterator visiting all the values in arbitrary order. The map cannot be used after calling this. Iterator element is type V. Then there's values. I wonder, how is that different? Oh, no, one is owned and one is not. There's no like as vec. All right, let's try into values. You're into values. Oh, but then I can collect it. And that works. So actually, I probably want to just put that there, get rid of you. And now it's a vector. And we could potentially sort that by ID or anything else that we want to. Oh, I was already here. I just need to rerun this. There we go. And now we have an array or a vector of games with their platforms inside. Now, this is an arbitrary order of games. I would need to do a different... I need to use something else. I would need to use one of the other hash maps, one of the other hashes to maybe like preserve order. So this is probably the fastest way to sort of do this conversion and combine them together. But there's probably other ways that were like maybe nicer for us later. But okay, I think this is good to go. So let's clean this up. And is there any other... Oh, we need to write all that stuff out. I'm not even close to ready to do this. Okay, so let's not create that. Let's just write the query. So begin with the basic program. There's a connection to a postgres database, a queries, and a library to a lib.rs to run the query, and a queries rs to define our many to many join. Let's begin by creating the join. Okay, let's begin by creating the SQL many to many join. So then this will be you. Well, let's update you. So we'll do ooh, should I even use aliases? I feel like I shouldn't use aliases in a tutorial though. So I may go back to just doing give me that game ID. Platform to platform ID. And I know it's nice to have the comma here, but I'm going to remove them just to make it consistent with what I've done so far. And I haven't seen very many other tutorials to that, so I don't know how like familiar and I want people to get like confused by looking at that and missing the the actual lesson that I want them to focus on. Okay, so I do like this, separating them out this way. So we select these, we join game platform on platform, game ID. SQL's a whole different ball game. It's never too soon to have aliases. Yeah, I know, but like I would, even though I'm like suggesting that you're not like super new to SQL, I'm betting that there's going to be plenty of people that are new to SQL. Let them focus on that one, and then I think like that will be one of the that could be one of the benefits of like the in-person lesson or like course would be like, hey, you know, you could use some aliases. It'll save you on typing. Okay, so that gives me, oh, I'm missing from clause entry for table game. This is games. And then also platforms. Okay, there we go. Unreal Realities. Hello, how are you doing today? As long as you have the names alias, I can't tell you how many times I've inherited queries that don't have them and spend so much time figuring out what tables everything comes from. Oh, missing aliases in the select clause. Yes, always, always put like that's why I just got into the habit of always put them in here. Like when I start building a query because I almost always need them, unless it's like the simplest of queries. But yeah, here this should be showing off everything. All right, there we go. You have seen some bad queries that took 10 minutes to run, and then it asked me to clean it up. Took 0.5 seconds to run after you're done with them. Their mind exploded. There's there's some fun tricks that you can do with SQL. And that's before you even get into the fun stuff like, okay, well, you know, if it's slow and we can't avoid that, now let's try some other tricks. Okay, so let's begin by creating the SQL many join. This will result in a row per game per platform. So what this means that if we own two games, if we own the same game twice on two platforms, it will have two rows in our resulting data. So probably we'll do Markdown. So we'll have say we're coming with game ID, game name, then the platform ID, platform name, So I don't know what I'm caring about there. Let's just get rid of that, and then we'll figure this all out later. Okay, so for the first one, we have 7. Game name is the Starfield one. Then we have 5, and that is Steam, right? Yeah, and 6 is the Switch. So then it's 8. Which is also 5 and Steam. The 9 we have, okay, Stardew Valley is twice. So that's on 6, Switch. Outside the scope for this, but in a production environment, you use stored procedures. I'm not sure if the SQL you use supports that. You can absolutely use, so like this is just SQL, right? So if I had stored procedures on the database, I could, which I think they're actually not called stored procedures in Postgres. I think they're called, are they just functions? Are they stored functions or something? I think there's something else. I think they're the same thing, but called something else. You can basically call them from normal SQL. So yeah, you could just call them and it would do stuff like that. It's the same thing. Like if you had a temporary tables, or if you had views or materialized views, you could then you could use those as well. Okay, so first off, let's select all view. No, we're going to select all view. Align you up. And then I want to select you again, go down. So almost worked out the way I wanted to. Oh, okay. So it is called procedures. Then never mind. All right, so there we go. So here's what that's going to look like for them. All right, so let's create our query in Rust. Okay, so let's create a query in Rust, and also a struct to catch, like convert from, for this output. So we can use query as. Macro. Okay. So what is that going to look like? We're going to start creating with this. But we're going to have to make some changes to this. So we can say, do I want to pull in the other one of those? I might. Oh, let's you know what? Let's just have that be a to-do. We'll just have that be like that. We get our results. It's gonna be a game platform. Let's replace this with the query we just used up here. What did I do? Oh, wait, did I move them around? I did not. I just undid my full screen. Okay. Fetch all, we do that. Okay, so we're not going to worry about this yet. And we're going to have okay with that. Oh, I need game platform. I'm not in the same instance. I have to do that. I keep on forgetting what type of paste I need. Not that type of paste. That type of paste. Okay. Let's like reverse some of these around. So if I delete you, let's put these at the top so we can read this like a book. Okay, so we see our two types here. And then we got a game platform. Okay, so we've created two type aliases for the game ID and platform ID. To make it easier to see what we need, and that they are different from each other. In our code editor. Okay, so we did that. All right, so we have fetch all. So currently we aren't returning anything. We'll add in our return type after we create the structs. Create like the final struct. Create the games struct that that we need. How about like create the games? Create the data structure that will hold the games. Okay, so next we need to create a couple of structs for the game and platform I guess like games and platforms tables. So that'll be these. Okay. Okay, so like the last part of this will be to put this all together. Put this all together, so we can have games with their associated platforms in them. We can. There are several ways we could do this. Hey Dota, how are you doing today? Stored procedures are generally bad. So it depends. If you're just doing stored procedures without any kind of like CI/CD integration, and you're just sort of like allowing stored procedures to be added with no testing, and just like anybody can add them or whatnot, then I would say that that's generally a bad practice. It can be hard to debug some of them too. So I've heard that argument too, Dota, and I I I've gone back and forth in it over my career. Uh the big thing though is that stored procedures will give you that really big help in performance. So what I would say is that stored procedures, just like any other technology choice, if you're going to use them, make sure that you have like good uh, practice. So CI/CD, testing, things like that should absolutely be added. So like they should only be put into the database through a CI/CD system that automatically adds them in. Kiss Killer, hello. How are you doing today? Explain to me what is the stored procedure. For now, I think of a stored procedure as a set of SQL lines saved under a name like a function in your DBMS. That's I think of it like a function that returns a set of SQL lines. Or wait, does it return? It doesn't have to return. It could also affect SQL lines. But we can create one really quickly. It's been a long time since I've done this. So let's go find out. Yeah, most of them I think are used to process. You can also use them to create tables. So like a very common use of a stored procedure would be to create a materialized view. A materialized view, if you don't know what that is basically a real, kind of like a real table. Also kind of like a temporary table. It's sort of like halfway in between there. It's a view only table. So it doesn't ever get updated, and it gets generated through a SQL query. So you can basically say every day at midnight, create the materialized view from what you have in the database. And then you can query on that. So you can basically take a huge, ginormous amount of poorly stored data and then turn it into like a really small pared down, this is the data that you really want to have. And then you can query and do everything else based upon that table. It's a really cool trick for if you can't speed things up through other things, you can speed them up by just creating a table. And also because it's created at whenever you run this function, you can run that function during a downtime. So that way you don't like harm your performance if in the case that that's not an option. Okay, so we could do create procedure. And so you can just run this. So like here I have just some SQL code. So I can just run it right here. We have stored procedures at work, but don't make them very often. If you shouldn't have to be touching them very often. If you do, then like every stored procedures are one of those things where you really like you don't want your model just changing willy-nilly. That would be a nightmare. So like that, your stored procedures should probably be like set and then forget. That being said, they can cause some weird issues. We had a stored procedure that was on one of our databases. The person who created it had left, didn't write any documentation that they had created it. And it was causing on every request, it wasn't slowing it down, but it was increasing the memory of the database, consumed by a significant amount until it started crashing. And that wasn't good. And that's the reason why Supercuber, I recommend that we use CI/CD for adding the stored procedures or mutating them. Or basically, you know what? You just use migrations and CI/CD. So yeah, I would say basically you should always version your database stuff. Like it's just files, and you can have the CI/CD run it. You could even have testing where it like spins up a like a database, like does stuff, like runs the query, does some more queries. Like you could basically do test driven development for queries and database stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do create procedure, and then what is it? It's procedure name. So yeah, it's name. What do I want to do? Triggers are also an interesting thing. So triggers are basically whenever something, you can set a trigger to be like, okay, whenever I insert a row into this table, whenever I update this one thing, then trigger a stored procedure. So it's again, triggers are one of those things that you should be adding into the database. Yeah, so like they're event emitters essentially. We used to catch a rogue employee who liked to kill tables. Oh no. Rogue employees with access are the worst. But yeah, it's basically an event emitter, but instead of just emitting an event, it also like says what to do. So it's not like a full event emitter type thing. And then in certain versions of Postgres, or maybe it might just be AWS Postgres only, you can set a trigger to like go out and like run a Lambda function or do something else like that. I don't actually, because I've never actually just done triggers in a normal Postgres database, always in an AWS database. So I'm that might be an AWS trick. I don't actually remember if a trigger can actually have like a connection out. Did I use your triggers for audit trails before? Some of the worst SQL I ever wrote. Oh no. Theoretically, the triggers and the procedures should be the best SQL we write, but we all know that that's not how code works. Sometimes we just need it working right then, and we just do something, it works. We then forget that we did it, never go back and fix it, and now it's sitting there forever. And then we leave the company, nobody remembers that it was there, and it just sits there in memory running quietly for the rest of time. Okay, name. I don't know. What are like? There's so many different logic things. I'm trying to like. I now don't even know what to think about. We can like, I can lowercase everything, right? So get. Oh, you know what? I can get. We could do a get all. So we could just do get all games with get all games with platforms. So we'll just do this query for us behind the scenes. That's what it is. That's why our data team is now independent from what we do. They facilitate and monitor, and we're just end users who have to find ways around limitations put upon us. Okay, so we have name. I don't really care about the rest of this stuff. And so then we have open brackets. And then I think from there, we just do our SQL. Do we have to do a language? Oh, we can take in, oh, right. We can take in arguments. Wait, is there ever a time where language is not SQL? I could do, oh, so I can create a new, is this beginning, this is beginning a transaction, right? What's atomic and transaction? I forget. It's like doing the full things for across everything, but is that actually what it's doing there, or is it something else? So what? Begin. The body of a single language procedure. This should be a block. So this is suggesting as begin. We just use begin atomic. Atomic specifies that the set of statements within a unit either all succeed or all fail. If one condition within the begin atomic and unit is not met, oh, I thought like that was just normal for begin and end. Oh, okay. So begin atomic, and then I think it's commit at the end, right? Oh no, it's just end. Oh, because it's not really a commit. I was looking at begin thinking that it was like the normal begin, but it's not. We have end. I'm trying to go I'm trying to use helix commands there, and escape is not work. Escape was not putting me into command mode. Strange, right? Okay, so now I can just do the previous get. So we can just say, we can just throw this select in here. I could also grab stuff, and we could do inserts or updates or anything like that. So if I do this, oh, what's begin atomic, do that. bad sequence from there. Okay, so select from. Oh, I probably need a semicolon here. Oh no, it doesn't want a semicolon here. Okay, create procedure. That. Do I not need this if I don't pull anything in? Add a new language. Okay, no, it definitely wants one. Add a near end. Okay, so create procedure, blah, language SQL, begin atomic, end, and then a bunch of queries. You have your semicolons, so select that from you. Okay, it created. Okay, that's apparently what I needed to do. And now we should be able to select star from. What do I call this? Get all games. Oh, call. I have to use call. Does not need that. Oh, relation call. I don't need a. Wait, do I just do this? Column call. How do I do this? Select. Oh, is it select star? No, it's not from that. How do I get this with Okay, so there's the call. I want to select. I can't do a call with that. How do I do a select from with that? Is that possible? Oh, to call a function, not a procedure. Oh, wait. You select instead. Wait, is that, there's a function is different than a procedure? How do I get the output of the call? Can I? These are just all statements within a statements calling procedure. Oh, because there's also a function. I forgot. There's also functions. I was thinking about these as the stored procedures, but they're different. And I can't remember the exact specific differences between them. So a stored procedure is for inserting or mutating, and I think a function is for getting. A procedure does not have a return value. A procedure can therefore end without a return statement. If you wish to use a return statement, just to exit the code early, just write return with no expression. Okay, so this is a terrible example of a stored procedure because this is literally never going to do anything properly. I think for this one, the best would be able to say, I want to change the name. Let's say I want to change the name from like, what is it? It's like $1, $2. No, it's like A and B. Okay. So I want the platform name, just going to be a varchar 255 to new platform name varchar 255. Okay, so if we do something like this, we're going to update. So begin atomic, I want to do an update. We're doing platforms. So it's going to be update platform name. Update platforms set. What is it going to be? Name equals to, how do I use, is it $? Can I just do B? So set name equals B, where the name is currently, what did I say? B. That's not even what I used. Platform name. New platform name. Okay, so if I do that, so let's start with just querying this and see where we are, right? So we have our platform, Steam, and Switch. So if I want to now call, oh, first of all, I have to create you. At or near colon. Oh. What language do I think I'm in? Okay, create the procedure. So now I can call. Let's double check here. So nothing's changed. Call update platform name. We're going to have, let's switch, let's take it from Switch. And we're going to turn it into Nintendo Switch. So called, and there, it updated that. So that's basically a stored procedure is now sitting in there, and it can do a bunch of stuff for you. So if you have like a bunch of like sort of these changes or something else that you want to run, any kind of like mutate, it's going to happen often, but not like just once at a time. So it's like an external script wouldn't work. This is a good thing, especially if it's something that you want to trigger to happen. It's like, okay, when this happens, I'll run this function and then just like go and do stuff. Okay. And then a function would be that we can get it, which, can I do a create function? Create function. So let's see, get all games. I'm guessing it would be the same thing here. Do I have to have the same language? Maybe. English SQL, begin. Okay, I don't actually know. Let's go find function. Create function name. Okay, so I need language. And then a bunch of potential stuff. Yeah, it's going to be the exact same thing. Oh, returns integer. Interesting. Oh, I don't have to have a returns on it. Oh, I might have to like create a type in here for that. Yeah, that seems not fun. I guess like I have to create a new view for it essentially. It's kind of funny how I wonder if I can get away without the return type. Like I would love for it to just figure it out and do that, but I don't think it would. I think, okay, then we could just do begin atomic. We have our end. And here we just have our that select. And so if I create you, are you going to be really upset at me? Result type must be specified. So because I'm returning those four things, that's not fun. Is it returning or returns? Returns, is it something like that where I can just say like, hey, it's an array of these things. It's fine. It's going to be like int text int text. It doesn't like that. It doesn't like that either. I don't remember how to I don't know how to do this. Returns table. Oh, I could just use table for that. So table int text int text. Syntax error at or near int. Oh, I have to give it names. So this would be like game ID, int, name, text, platform, ID int, platform, name, text. There we go. Okay, so now I can get all games from SQL. So I can do select get all games like that. Oh, and then I can do get star from. And then that lets me sort of get that out. So, not a good use of a function, but like it's a function. All right, let's go back to this. The last part of this will be to put this all together so we can have games with their associated platforms in them. There's several ways we can do this. There are several ways we can do this. Okay, so maybe like not even mention that. We're just going to say, to do this, we're going to use a hash map to store the games and a vector to store the platforms. this will allow this allows us to avoid a nested loop when finding games and I guess like when finding games and inserting when finding games. We're finding games that we may or may not have already seen. Okay, so then the next part of the query is going to be this. So we have create the hash map, loop through the games, and push this in. Okay, so let me use games for result and results, with results being this thing up here. Well, up here. Let game equals game.entry. Okay, so we get that out or insert. We put the game in, then we just push the platform in. Okay, so while we need to check if we've seen the game before, we don't need to check if we've seen the same platform for that specific game. Since we have a composite primary key for the game platform table. Lastly, we can update our return type to be a result with a hash map game ID and game. If we want to if we don't want to okay, so let's just do that next. Here's the full code for the queries file. Okay, so let's go back to not having a special type for that. We're going to go back to, this is going to be a hash map of game ID and game. Let's also update the locations of some of these. We're going to have you up here. Let's put you up there too. Get rid of you. And you. And then we just return you. Okay, that makes you happy. We have plenty of unused things. Let's see. Yeah, you're not being used, but that's okay. Okay, so basically not being used are fine for this. Okay. I should probably make sure that this is still working. All right, perfect. Okay, so if we wanted to return a different data structure, like an array or like a vector, then we could convert we convert into an array using into a vec using the into values dot collect method on games. Hash maps don't keep order. So, however, so this, I guess like this method is great if we don't care about the order of games coming back. If we do, then we could use a hash data structure that does retain order. Like, what are some of the other hashes? Let's go find them out. Twisted Seed, hello. How are you doing today? Let's see, I want to do, what is it, docs? Is it docs.rs or is it docs? I don't think it's docs.rs. Yeah, that just gives me docs of all these. I want to go into like Rest docs, right? Or I can go into here. All right, so there's a bunch of hash maps. Oh, is it hash set? Wait, where's the list? Oh, structs. Nope. Wait. Oh, it's under collections. That's what it is. Oh no, that's not what I want. I want hash. Let's see. That's it. Use a B-tree map when you want a map sorted by its keys. And this would probably be what it is. So B-tree map. If we do, then we can use a hash data structure that does retain order, like what is it? B-tree map. Oh, that doesn't go to a B-tree map? Oh. Like that. Okay. There we go. And okay. All right, so we can call this query from, we can call this query from, where do we call it? From the library. And print out the results. Here's that. And then shell text, probably shell. So I'll just do ZSH. And this is what we get out of it. Let me just do a cargo run. Ooh, I wonder if I could do cargo run and I output this to pb copy. I wonder. I don't feel that worked very well. I'm just going to do this, and I'll just get rid of that pb copy at the end. Okay. Let's just get rid of you. Compiling, we'll get rid of all these warnings. Oh, nope. Okay, so then we get out of view. Okay, so we get our games. They all look good. Okay. Conclusion. We've unfortunately SQLx doesn't provide an easy way to take the results of a query and convert them, destructure them, like convert them into the nested data structures that we want. So we have to have an intermediary struct that represents the data coming back, and then do the sort of like collection manually. It's not necessary to use a hash map or the tree map. I guess it's not necessary to use a map for this algorithm, but it does help us avoid a nested for loop. A nested for loop, since we can pull the game out by ID instead of searching for it. Okay. All right, so I think that's it. let's save this. And let's go through it. We have 20 minutes left. We can review this, and then tomorrow we can do a video on it. All right, joins with SQLx. Getting data from multiple tables at the same time is a common operation with any SQL database. In this lesson, we'll be using a join table to get data from multiple tables in the same query. Prerequisites. This lesson assumes that you know what a join table is and the basics of using the join statement in a SQL command. If you need to learn how to use joins in SQL, I recommend going through this. I am not even going to include this one because we're not even talking about the different types of joins in here. We're just using a very basic join, and it's not really going to change anything. It's just SQL. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to use SQLx to get data from multiple tables in a join. And then also you will be able to convert the objects that we get back from a join into our models. Content. Table structure. Let's start with a database that has 3 tables. So we have games, platforms, and game platform. We've also seeded these tables with some games and platforms. Okay, so we have Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, Stardew Valley. Oh, I'm missing what is it called? I am missing platforms. Ooh, and this is game ID. Okay, so we have, what do we actually have here? We have 5 for Steam and 6 for Switch. Oh, and if I just do Nintendo Switch, the end one that I have down here, I think, will be correct. Yeah, so we'll just add that in here. Okay, 5 for Steam. And then 6 for Nintendo Switch. There we go. Okay. How did they get the name? Why did that one get centered? Wonder why that was centered. I don't think it will matter. I think it will left align it regardless. So it doesn't really matter in the end. Okay. Code setup. We're beginning with a basic program that has a connection to a Postgres database, a live.rs to run the query, and a queries.rs to define our many-to-many join. Let's begin by creating the SQL many-to-many join. Okay, so there it is. This will result in a row per game per platform. This means that if you own the same game twice on 2 platforms, it will have 2 rows in a resulting data. So now we see that. Let's switch out this. Ooh. Okay. Let's create a query in Rust and also a struct for this output so we can use the query as macro. Okay, so here's the code. So we create the types. We get a game platform, we get all that stuff. Okay, that's good. We've created 2 type aliases for the game ID and platform ID to make it easier to see what we need and that they are different from each other in our code editor. Currently, we aren't returning anything. We'll add in our return type after we create the data structure that will hold the games. Next, we need to create a couple of structs for the games and platforms tables. Okay, so game platforms. The last part of this will be to put this all together. I guess like now, to put this all together, we can have games with their associated. Now we put this all together so that we can have games with their associated platforms in them. To do this, we're going to use a hash map to store the games and a vector to store the platforms. This allows us to avoid a nested loop when finding games that we may or may not have already seen. Okay, so we loop through, get the game, and then throw the platform in the game. While we need to check if we've seen the game before, we don't need to check if we've seen the same platform for that specific game, since we have a composite primary key for the game platform table. Lastly, we can update our return type to be a result hash map game ID game. Here's the full code for the queries file. Okay, so we have the full thing. If we wanted to return a different data structure, like a vec, then we can convert into a vec using the intoValues.collect method on games. Hash maps don't keep order, so this method is great if we don't care about the order of games coming back from the database. If we do, then we can use a hash data structure that does retain order, like a B-tree map. We should change that to map data structure. A map data structure that does retain order, like a B-tree map. We can call this query from the library and print out the results. So we call it, and that prints out the results. Conclusion. Unfortunately, SQLx doesn't provide an easy way to take the results of a query and convert them into the nested data structures that we want. So we have to have an intermediary struct that represents the data coming back, and then do the collection manually. It's not necessary to use a map for this algorithm, but it does help us avoid a nested for loop since we can pull the game out by ID instead of searching for it. And that's it. Okay. I think we're ready for recording this. And after doing this, so after doing the recording, then I want to do an assessment for this. Now we have an assessment for Axum where we're sort of like, it's also writing the API around it and the query is together. So I was thinking, what if we create a new I want to create a new assessment for this. I think we can use the bookshop one, and then we basically just strip out everything that's not Axum from it. So it's just going to be a library whose job is to get books from the code. Okay, I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that'll work for it. So that'll be it for tomorrow. let's go ahead and get this all saved up. So let's see, we, you know what? We can move this too. SQLx, we want to go to 3 recording. That'll be tomorrow. We are ready to record. And I'll go ahead and push that on up. If there's anything else that you want to see in the course, let me know. But basically, it's going to be connecting basic queries, transactions, or like bulk queries, like the ability to do bulk stuff. And then many to many, because like that's important. And then I think some kind of assessment, which we'll figure out, that'll probably be like the next couple of days to figure that out, and then we'll be ready for figuring out how to run this thing. So with that being said and done, that's gonna be it for today. We're 8 minutes early too. So let me go ahead and put on the ending screen. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time to continue. We'll do a recording on this and then start working on the assessment. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.